Have you on your defensive lines? Saturday flow, straight weekend you rhyme. Straight ball and scratch all like we undefined. Feet in time, believe it's all we seek and define. Let's get 'em. Don't know how my squad set 'em.
Hi, my name is Renford Reese. I'm a professor in the political science department and director of the Colorful Flags program at Cal Poly Pomona. We're here today as a part of the Prison Race series to have a conversation with Willie Fant, a young man who just paroled from prison, Chuckawalla State Prison here in California, about 2 days ago. Want to have a conversation, a candid conversation with Willie Fant about his upbringing, about his reckless behavior which led to prison. Want to talk to him about prison life. When I met Willie about 4 years ago on a prison visit, I was struck by how youthful he looked. He looked like he was about 15 years old. He was about 130 pounds, about 5'7", and I wanted to know, one, how could he survive in this type of prison environment, and two, what actually led him to prison. And finally, he's just paroled about 56 hours ago, and I want to talk to him about his dreams, about his aspirations. Glad to have you, Willie. All right. So you just told me not too long ago about going out. You went out to a club the other night. You just paroled. What was it like? Somebody carded you? When I met you, you looked like you were 15 years old. Now you look like you're 16 years old.
Yeah, I went out yesterday, man, and they was at the bar. They carded me. They didn't believe I was 18. You can't buy any liquor or anything, you know. But it just felt good to be out, man.
Okay, so how long did you serve?
6.5 years.
Okay, so when you went in, you were 18 years old.
Yeah.
So you're 24 years old right now?
I'm 25 Friday.
Okay, that's hard for a lot of people to believe, I know. So, Willie, I want to talk to you about, first of all, what was it like when you came out? I mean, you spent 6.5 years. When you walked out, what was it like?
It felt weird, man. It just felt weird because, you know, you used to people waking you up, you eating at certain times, showering, you know. It just felt good to be out and just have my freedom.
Right. Okay, so then I want to talk about your childhood. What was it like? Did you have two parents at home? Was it a healthy environment?
Yeah, I had two parents for half of the time. My dad left at probably about 11 years old, you know.
And so what happened after 11 years old?
11 years old, 12, 13, I was by myself. I didn't have that you know, that father figure there. So I just freelanced. I was just out there, you know, in the street. My friends in the street was my role models. Okay, so then tell me, so if your father had stayed in the household, do you think you would have been out in the streets at 12 and 13 years old? Nah, I probably would have had a little bit more authority, you know. He would have had a little bit more authority on me, give me guidance, right. You know. But
the fact that you didn't have the guidance, that led to you going out in the streets.
Yeah.
Okay, what about your mom? You say your mom was there, but what about your mom? Did she have any influence over you?
Yeah, she had some, but not much.
Right, and you had said something about a woman, the fact that a woman, do you not feel that a woman can raise a young man properly?
Nah, I don't think a woman can have that you know, that father figure, that role model, that's how I'm supposed to be, you know.
Right, so you don't think that she has the same authority as, let's say, your dad, in your perception, in your eyes?
Nah.
Okay, so then tell me, what types of things were you involved in? You said you got initiated in the gang. You told me this earlier. How did you get initiated in the gang? Oh,
you know, we went, the older homies, they had us, you know, put dudes on. I got put on in the backyard.
Now, when you say you got put on, what does that mean?
I mean, you got initiated. About 4 or 5 guys, you know, fight with you, you know. Then you go do something after that, put in some work or something like that.
Okay, now when you say put in work, that means you go get involved in criminal activity.
Yeah.
Okay, so then tell me, I know, because I know you, we've communicated over the last 4.5 years via letters. I know your background. I know your academic background. But I want you to talk about the fact that you were a good student. And, you know, when most people think about inmates think about people who are incarcerated. They think about people who've dropped out, people who are not good students. But the fact is, you were an A student all the way up until middle school. So how did you go from being this A student? You were not being empowered by making good grades. How did you go from being an A student to being out in the streets?
Being an A student, you know, the people around you, they not getting A's. You know, they hanging out and doing what they doing. So you kind of get sidetracked and, you know, fall into that, kicking it with them, and they not focused, and they getting F's.
Okay, but then you said, and you've told me this before, that they looked at you as being what? The people that looked at you as making A's, they looked at you as being a square.
Yeah.
So were you uncomfortable with being perceived a square?
Yeah, I was uncomfortable not being in the in crowd probably, but not being smart. I knew I was smart, but I just wanted to, like, you know, you see your boys over there kicking it, and you want to go over there and you know, hang out. So that's what I was doing.
So when did you start getting involved in serious criminal activity?
Serious activity?
Right.
Probably about 16.
Okay, what types of things were you doing?
Oh, we was going around shooting.
Okay, shooting and not drive-by shootings?
No, we was doing walk-ups.
Okay, now when you say walk-ups, what does walk-ups mean?
Walk-up mean you just walk all the way up and, you know, shoot from about where me and you was at.
Okay, so
this
what?
Distance.
Okay, now to a lot of people looking at this, they might see that as strange. I mean, you're saying you're just walking up to someone and you're shooting them. Did you have any conscience about this? Any remorse about just walking up on somebody and shooting them?
No, it's a war.
Okay, so you're not shooting innocent people.
No, it's part of it. It's part of it. They know what time it was when it was the war. They do it. You know, I've been shot at inside church's chicken, eating food.
Right. So it's all a part of this type of warrior code, right? That they shoot at you and you come back and you shoot at them. So they know, when you say they know what time it is, that means they're conscious of what's going on. They're conscious of the war.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you had no remorse?
Nah, none.
Okay. Now, what about, did you see some of the people in your gang? First of all, what gang were you in?
I was for wildlife.
Wildlife. Crips?
Yeah.
Okay, so who were you beefing with? Other Crips, or was it Bloods?
Nah, I'm in Riverside, so it's the racial tension with the Hispanics and blacks.
Oh, so you had problems with the Hispanics?
Yeah.
Okay. So then tell me what led you to ultimately get incarcerated? What was it?
Just constantly just doing stuff, you know, eventually you shooting, somebody's going to tell. If it's an innocent, you know, witness or the people that actually got shot.
Right. So then tell me exactly what happened in your situation.
In my situation, you know, I was having you know, a little incident with a couple guys, you know, on and off. They knew that they see me, they shoot at me, I see them shoot at them. This particular time, I was walking, and I was not in my neighborhood. I wasn't in my side. I was in their side, and they walked up and what's up? They thought they had me, but I knew that they didn't have no gun. So I walked up, I smiled at them, and I told them, you know, it's Riverside, and just, you know, shot them, walked off. I got away for probably about 2 weeks, and then they gave me a call. They gave me a call looking for me.
Who is they, the police?
Yeah. And then they was outside.